Hey, I'm going to give you some tips about meditation today. You're going to get your first 24-hour meditation. Whether you've never meditated before in your life or you've been meditating for years and you just haven't quite broken through to that 24-hour mark, today I'm going to talk about how you can get to doing that, how you can deepen your meditation practice. So before we start, I have a little visual. Let this represent stress, anxiety, worry, fear, whatever you're trying to suppress when you go to your addictions. We've got this thing floating in us and we press it down. And we press it down and we say, I don't want to deal with that. Meanwhile, it's just getting bigger. It's expanding in there. And then life happens as it does, and we get more stuff. We get more piles of emotions, and then water spills everywhere. And we're like, why can't I stop picking bad relationships? Why can't I change up my eating habits? Why can't I make a habit stick? It's basically making a mess in your life. You get this buildup of all these things. Imagine this is your mind, and it's just filled with little balls of pain and toxic energy and negative beliefs and who knows what else. Meditation is the act of finally letting these things go so that your mind can be free of all these little balls and finally just be a clean, clear glass of water. That's the act of meditation. That's why we do meditation, my friend. And a 24-hour meditation, I'm going to leave this alone so it stops spilling on my floor. A 24-hour meditation is a way of debriding, getting rid of that stuff, cleansing all of these energy patterns, letting it come up, basically facing the things that you've been pushing away. And meditation is also building up the muscle to learn how to do that, not just when you're sitting cross-legged, but also when you're living your life. I've experienced the energy of anxiety my entire adult life. And that anxiety created havoc in every area of my life. I was a workaholic and I gave myself autoimmune issues. I had huge patches of hair loss. All of it was a reflection of toxic patterns that were in my body for a long time. I finally hit a bottom. And my bottom started at that autoimmune issue. So that was about the start of my bottom. I had autoimmune issues. I could no longer deny the fact that I needed to change something. Now, you cannot change an embedded pattern with pure will and your mind, because your will and your mind created the pattern. So I was like, I really need to change this, and I'm going to change something. But ultimately, it's not up to you to change these pain patterns that are creating messes in your life. Ultimately, we have to come to letting those patterns heal on their own, and that's where meditation comes in. So for me, back to my story really quick, I hit a bottom emotionally, physically, everything. And I finally started meditating. And before I started becoming like the way I am now, where I don't skip a day, I haven't skipped a day in years. I've never had a hard time focusing, but I knew I should meditate, but I'd sit down and meditate and it'd be like 2 minutes in and I'd be like, has it been 15 minutes? And then I'd check the clock and be like, did I forget the timer? And then I'd be like, this is so uncomfortable. And I'd be like crawling out of my skin and I'd be like, I have so much stuff to do, and checking the timer again. And it'd be like 1 minute. It'd be like 1 minute, 30 seconds. That's how it used to be. And then finally, here's what clicked for me. Finally, I got to that bottom. I got to the bottom. I got to an intense feeling of my hair's falling out of my head. I have autoimmune issues. My relationship at the time was chaos, and it had been for 17 years. Chaos. And then finally, I hit a bottom, and it was just time. I finally stopped messing around with my life. That's the best way I can describe it. Finally said, look, enough. I'm not messing around with my life anymore. And my life, ultimately, my life is happening up here. That's my life. That's no matter where I go, no matter what I'm doing, this is my life. You got to be really willing, and you got to be completely done and finished with the garbage. We'll just call it the garbage. Let's get into the how and really breaking down what meditation is and what it's not. Over the past decade or so, I've had the privilege of learning, because part of my journey has been when I am committed to something, I'm committed to it. And that's a really good part of my ego. So I got committed to learning meditation. So I've studied great teachers. I've studied the yogic practices. I've studied Buddhism. I've trained with some amazing teachers. And what I've come to learn is, here's my definition of meditation. Meditation is the embodiment and knowing experientially who and what you are. That's what meditation is. Meditation is nothing more than experiencing who and what you are. So there's a million different methods of meditation. There's probably more than a million. There's lots of different techniques, but I want you to understand the reason that we meditate is the very simple reason that we meditate is to know experientially and live in who and what we are. You may have heard these things a million times, to live from your eternal nature, that you're an eternal being, that you're not your body, you're not your mind, you're not your thoughts. But you can hear these things a million times and it won't mean anything to you until you experience it. That's what meditation is for. It's for actually experiencing life as your eternal self, as that part of you that can't be touched by anything that's happening in the outside world. So that's what meditation is. There's an ego part of you that's like the outfits that you wear. Your ego is basically the outfit that you're wearing. It's your name, it's your identity, it's your thoughts, it's your body can be considered part of your ego if your mind is attached to it. Basically, your ego is just a collection of your thoughts and ideas and emotions, and everything that's going on right here is your ego. And then there's the space behind it, and that's you. That's your consciousness. That's awareness. That's who and what you are. A lot of people think when you meditate, I'm not supposed to be, I'm a terrible meditator because I'm thinking thoughts and I'm having all these rushing thoughts and it's just thoughts happening all the time and I can't meditate. Well, meditation is you're just being aware of what's happening. You're being aware. So you're conscious, you're aware of your thinking. That's all it is. So this isn't some big mystery and it's not some big thing to tackle and it's not you don't have to muscle your way in there and like stop your thoughts. I just want to give you this before we get into the techniques of, it doesn't matter if you're thinking, it doesn't matter if you're having a crap day, it doesn't matter if you're feeling lots of anxiety and lots of pain and lots of sadness or whatever you got going on, that's happening. It's like a tornado even if it's a hurricane, that's fine. When you meditate, you're just hanging out back here and you're watching it. You're experiencing it in your body and you're feeling those things, you're feeling those sensations, but you're also, let me ask you, how are you aware that you're having those thoughts? You're aware because you're aware. You're aware because there's something watching those thoughts. They call it the witness or the presence. So you're building presence and awareness. So that's all it is. Right? So that's what meditation is. There's lots of different styles of meditation. My preferred style of meditation is Vipassana meditation. Vipassana meditation is a simple awareness, a broad awareness of what is happening. Now, Vipassana meditation is also called liberation meditation because it helps you to see things clearly. So you observe your thoughts. You just hang back like this. That's like the stance. I mean, you don't literally do that, but you hang back like this and you're observing your thoughts. You're like, all right, there's that judgment. There's that fear. There's that emotion. There's that sadness. There's that memory. There's that whatever. Step one is we're observing our thoughts. We don't need to do anything else. You just sit and observe your thoughts. Now, when we get to talking about a 24-hour meditation, that is taking the sitting meditation. So I recommend that you sit. If you're going to do a 24-hour meditation, I recommend you take a seat in the morning and you sit down, you close your eyes, and you let your thoughts happen for like 30 minutes. Okay? And then those 30 minutes, there's nothing to do. You're just watching your thoughts happen. And you might, if you feel moved, you might have a positive phrase. You might repeat over and over again something positive, maybe from your favorite sacred scripture, or maybe from the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or the Dhammapada, and you say it over and over again, over and over again. And then when you're done with that 30 minutes, then we take it to the 24-hour mark. So how do we do a 24-hour meditation? So we take that same stance like this. We're taking the stance of the witness, and we're bringing it into everything that we do. Everything that you do can be a meditation. You don't have to sit cross-legged to be in a meditation for 24 hours. It's an intention. So I'm not talking about mindfulness. That's very important too. Mindfulness is a very good way to live your life, paying attention, being aware. Mindfulness is more putting your attention on what's happening. Meditation is more sitting in yourself and being the witness and really focusing on that witness consciousness. It's an intention to listen to life. You're listening to your life. You're listening to the still small voice, and you're also listening to that thing that animates your body. So there's something animating your body right now, and it's always present, and that is part of the witness. When we live this way, when we start to do these 24-hour meditations where we're paying attention and we're in the witness and we're not wrapped up in thinking. Thinking's happening, but we're not like, okay, he did this, she did that, I need to do this, I need to do that. And like these things might be happening, but we're aware of them, like we're witnessing it. They're not controlling our life, we're just witnessing it. We're not attached to our thinking, we're watching our thinking. When we start living that way, things start happening where you're moved, you're inspired because you're in spirit. Like the word inspired means in spirit. So you're moved to action. You're not compulsively acting from this momentum and from these samskaras, from these pain bodies. You're acting from an in spirit place, an inspired place. So you automatically just know what to do. You automatically know what to eat. You're automatically knowing who and who not to talk to. And I'll tell you what happens. These habits and patterns that are not serving you anymore, they slowly start to fall away. And they break off like big icebergs. It's really incredible. One of my meditations, one of my first big meditations, when I meditated for like an hour, and I was in one of those, I was in like the rock bottom place, and I meditated for an hour. And what happened was I started being given memories from my childhood that were, I hadn't thought about these in years. And I started seeing how they correlated with different ways that I presented in the world, and different ways that I acted, and different habits and different relationship patterns and all this stuff. And it was just one session, 1 hour. And 1 hour, I broke off these old patterns that had been there for my entire adult life. That was 1 hour. Now you don't need to go into a meditation expecting that to happen every single time. And you don't need to go into a meditation expecting that to happen at all, because that's not ultimately the point. The point is to actually live your life. So that's the ultimate reason that we do a 24-hour meditation. So how you do a 24-hour meditation, back to the title of this video, is how to do a 24-hour meditation, is you wake up with the intention of listening. So you listen while you're meditating in a cross-legged position, in silence and stillness. And then you take that same presence with you out into the world. You take it with you when you're driving in your car, someone's honking at you, you say, "That asshole." And then you notice that you just said that. You notice that just came out of your mouth. You notice the tension in your chest. You notice it. You're there for it, present for it. Okay. There's an anger happening here. All right. And then you move on to the next thing. You let it go, shake it off. What most people do, I was going to say normal people, but what most people do is, and what I did for a long time is traffic happens. Somebody, honks at me. It's like, that asshole. And then I think about it. And then I let that thought continue. And then it just takes over. And then it's like, then you get home and you're like, some asshole, blah, 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 blah. And that's just one little thing. This happens all day long with all types of things. No, if we take a meditative stance, if we do a 24-hour meditation, really dedicate ourselves to watching our thoughts, magic starts to happen. Oh my God, these thoughts are not gaining momentum and creating more little pain bodies, more anxiety that we just want to suppress at the end of the day and be like, why do I feel so shitty? Why do I have anxiety in my chest? Well, and how do I not feel this, Well, if we just tend to what's happening all day long, these things can't stick to you and you're just like flowing with life. So that's how you meditate for 24 hours. You don't need to sit cross-legged. It's more of an intention. It's more of an awareness. So being aware that you're aware, watching your thoughts, and this takes some practice, but the more that you do this, the easier it becomes. Then you're aware that you're aware while you're talking to people, and you're aware of what they're saying, and you're deeply aware, you're meditating on what they're saying even. You're not having necessarily opinions about it. Maybe there's some discernment there, but you're like taking in what they're saying, you're feeling it in your body because that happens too. Different situations give you little signals in your body. That's useful information, okay? Then you feel into, okay, this conversation's over. Let me move on. And then the next thing happens. And so you're living your life as a meditation. So that's how you meditate for 24 hours. And I did a 2-year meditation. And I know some people are going to get into semantics here about what meditation is or isn't. But I hold to the fact that, and this is after doing a 1.5 years of an hour-long meditation in the morning every day without stopping. I hold to the fact that you can meditate all day long. Your life can be a meditation. Your life can be a prayer. Your life can be awareness. Maybe you don't want to do it 24/7, but I think the more that you can get into living like that, the more in balance and in harmony you become. So I hope this is helpful, and I would love to hear your thoughts on meditation. If you've ever done a prolonged meditation, share how you like to meditate. I also want to mention I'm working right now on something called the Total Transformation Program. That's a mind, body, spirit program that covers everything from lifestyle, meditation, bringing you into harmony with mind, body, and spirit practices. I hope that you join me at the Total Transformation Program by joining the waitlist in the description bar below if that kind of thing piques your interest and you want to learn more about things like this, meditation, how to apply it to your life, how to live more healthfully, how to intuit what is and isn't right for your body, and how to build a better relationship with yourself and your body and your health. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.